Let's go. What's up, everybody? How's it going? We are live for Friday morning hacky hour. I'm just double checking, making sure that the stream is going where it's supposed to be. And yes, it is. I do see myself on LinkedIn. What's going on, people? How's it going? This is actually the first ever Friday morning hacky hour that we are streaming live on LinkedIn. I usually host these in the Discord community. If you're curious about the Discord community, you can go to deeplearningdaily.community and that'll get you right into the Discord community. But today we're doing it here live and direct on LinkedIn because why not? Because why not? Give you guys a taste of the awesome stuff that we're doing in our community. So today we're going to be talking to a friend of mine, Matt McFarlane. I've known Matt for a little over a year now. Just caught my attention on LinkedIn and we've been kind of chatting here and there. Matt is actually going to show us how he built a AI application using LangChain, OpenAI Whisper, and GPT-4. This application is called MaterMemoriae, and it is a language app that uses repetition for in-depth study of texts. So it's going to employ OpenAI Whisper for transcript comparison, Google text-to-speech, and 11 labs for pronunciation, and features mind mini games, translations, and tools like LangChain and GPT-4 to enhance learning. It's going to be a dope, in-depth technical session. We're going to get into some code and all that. And this is your opportunity to, kind of learn from Matt's experience here for how to build a AI application. Matt, thank you so much for being here, man. Happy to have you.
Harpreet, it is so great to be here. Yeah, I'm really excited about this application. I'm excited to be here.
All right. Well, I won't keep the audience waiting. Go for it, man. The stage is all yours. Cheers.
Okay, awesome. Let me set the stage. I suppose I should probably share the I need to be able to share. I'll just share my.
Yeah. Do you need sharing permissions? I think you should be able to.
Okay.
Okay. While Matt's pulling that up, those of you that are watching on LinkedIn, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining. Let me know where you guys are coming in from. We got people coming in from Warsaw. That's awesome. Warsaw. What's up, Nithin? How you doing? Benya, how's it going? Mr. May Young, how's it going? Matt's just queuing up his screen here, and we'll get started shortly. Happy to have all you guys here. This is going to be a great presentation.
Harpreet, I'm gonna have to quit to be able to redo the sharing.
Okay, cool.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, little Zoom hiccup always happens. Always happens. Sometimes when you
Okay.
yeah, go for it. I'll keep the audience busy until then. So Matt is going to take over the stream soon. He just had to sign in onto well, when you're restarting, when you're trying to share a screen on Zoom, you need to give certain permissions, right? So he's taking care of the permissions and all that stuff. Technical difficulties as always. So sit tight while we get going there. So yeah, if there's any questions or anything, I'm happy to take questions. Oh, I'm super pumped for today is day one of the LangChain Zoom camp. So I've been working on this 100 days of LangChain series, and so far I think I'm on day 21, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully, you're keeping track of the progress that I'm making during this series. I've got a schedule of sorts that you can follow along to, and I'll drop a link right now to that schedule so you guys can check that out. But yeah, today at 4 p.m. Central Time, going forward for the next 10 weeks or so, LangChain Zoom Camp. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. And now, without further ado, Matt, go for it.
I am having trouble seeing you and hearing you.
Hopefully you can see and hear me now. Mert, you're in the room. How's everything sounding to you, Mert?
I can hear you, Harpreet. And
You
also,
can. Okay. So Matt, I can hear you, so just go for it, man, because you don't need to hear me anyways. So go for it.
Okay. Can you hear me now? You can hear me? Okay, that's good. That's really good. I still need to be able to hear you though. Okay,
No worries.
Awesome.
Yeah, good. Let's roll.
Okay. Cool. So I am excited to introduce MaterMemoriae, a language learning application that helps you learn languages by using a tried and true method, repetition. So the name MaterMemoriae comes from the Latin phrase Repetitio mater memoriae, which means that repetition is the mother of memory. Now, you and I are born into a scary and unstructured world. Scary because we have no words, crying because we do not understand. But soon we come into contact with structure. Structure adds context. It adds meaning. Language is one structure, family is another. Some of these structures unite us, others divide us. For centuries, language has been one of these structures that divides us. Since the Tower of Pale, associated with different languages are different outcomes. So if you're fortunate enough to know English, likely you'll be in the highest category of income earners. You'll have access to far more educational opportunities, and generally people will understand what you're talking about and what you're doing. On the other hand, in countries like Ukraine, common subjects like math and humanities won't even be taught in the native language. So to get a job in technology in Ukraine, you need to have a certain proficiency in English, which automatically lowers the pool and makes it much smaller, the amount of people who can actively participate in the digital revolution that is occurring in that country. And we've just accepted this as part of the course for the longest times. But you know, and we've been powerless to push back against this. We've just had to accept these structures that others have put down upon us, and we've been powerless to push back against this. And we were drowning in the volume, variety, and velocity of data flung at us from every direction, but no more. In 2017, Google published their seminal research paper, Attention is All You Need, introducing the world to a new class of machine learning models, the transformer. These industrialized billion and trillion parameter models allow us to do new things with text and language, which allows us to learn languages and create customized experiences that have never before been possible. And I'd like to show you right now just how that works. Okay, so this is the application. So the homepage is a series of texts, and I'll show you soon. There are many different ways you can upload text, but the point of it is to help you when you're learning languages, to help you understand how to pronounce and say and memorize these texts that, you know, I don't know about you, Harpreet, but, you know, in my language classes, I've always had to learn certain passages and then recite them. And it's particularly common with language instruction as well. And doing that allows us to get a really deep dive into it allows us to provide context to what we're learning, and has us dive into cultural and cultural patterns that we wouldn't otherwise get. And it's different for every language. So I'd like to, without any more of a prequel, I'd like to just demonstrate how it works. So I'm gonna click on this text card, and I'm gonna start recording. So I'm gonna read this passage, and it's okay if you guys don't understand me. That's totally fine. Ukraino, świata mati heroje. Zidi do serca moho. Prylin boriowitrów kawkaskich. Szumom karpackich ruczajów. Bojew sławnego zawionka batka chmelia. Triumfom i hukom harmat rewolucji. Radisnym homonom sofiskich dzwonów. Nechaj dusza moja w tobie відродиться. Славою твоєю опроміниться. Бо ти, пресвята, це життя моє. Бо ти, це щастя моє. Zazvenimini brazkatom kaidaniv, skripom shivenis vipomori ranki, frinesimini zoiki katovanich uluchak, uturmach inazaslianiach. Shobira maya bulach ranitom, щоб розла завсяття міць, щоб сміла і щоб я би. Так, як ішли герої за тебе, свята, за твою славу, за твої святі ідеї, щоб помстити ганьбу невони, потоптану честь, хлумкатів твоїх, невинну кров помордованих дітей твоїх, величну смерть героїв української нації і тисяч інших незнаних нами, що їх кості порозкидані або таком поховані. Споли вогнем життєтворчим сіо хволість у серці моєму. Страху нехай не знаю я, і не знаю, що таке вахання. Скріпи мій дух, ту болю в серці замешкай моєму. Зрости мене до ясних чинів, для тебе в чинах нехай знайду я смерть, солодку смерть в мухах за тебе. І розпливався в тобі, та вічно житиму в тобі. Відвічна Україна, свята, могутна і соборна. Awesome. Awesome. And then we're going to transcribe it with OpenAI Whisper. Now,
so OpenAI Whisper, that's completely free open source, right? And
it is. It is. I am using. Oh, wonderful! I am using the API just for faster inference, and I don't really have a GPU here. But it is a free and open source model. It's really great that it is open source. It's revolutionized it, and it makes it perfect for something like Desi's Auto NAS technology, because they can just plug that in and get just as accurate a model, but much smaller and faster. Wonderful. So that's our transcription. So this is the actual transcript. This is what I've said. So OpenAI Whisper is going to faithfully transcribe it with as good as human performance. And it's going to put down what I'm saying.
So real quick,
yeah.
Okay, so this what you see up top, that was just like that was just kind of like a script you're reading, and you spoke in using your mic, and it went to OpenAI Whisper, and OpenAI Whisper transcribed it, and it was able to automatically detect the language on its own, or was there some setting that you had to like?
I did.
Set?
Yeah, that was it was a little tricky. So OpenAI Whisper can automatically detect the transcription on its own, but it's going to do a lot of things to try and help you that don't really help you. So one of the things it's going to do is it's going to convert it into Latin texts. So OpenAI Whisper charges you per token, right? And in English, that means per word. But in Russian, in Cyrillic and Chinese characters, this becomes one token becomes you're charged per letter. So it's substantially more expensive. And so they're going to default to giving you this, Latinized version of it, which is not really what you need. So I did have to hard code that to do it so that per language, it'll know what to do. And it knows the language of the text card. And based on that, that information is being sent to OpenAI Whisper. And yeah, that's a good point to note, because that'll save you a lot of trouble if you're trying to do this on your own. Okay, so now we're going to close this. That's what I said. And we're going to go up here to our user text list. So, all right, not too bad. So our user text list now shows us a score, 89.14%. And that's not a number that's pulled out of nowhere. That's the Levenstein ratio. So the Levenstein ratio is a measure of the differences in similarities between two strings, and it's commonly used for machine translation tasks. For example, I thought that this meeting was going to be happening at like 5 or 6 because it's hacky hour, which is very, very close to happy hour. The Levenstein distance between happy hour and hacky hour is 2. So from this, the Levenstein ratio is calculated. And it ends up being a very, very good indicator of how well you are actually doing at sounding like you're supposed to do. You're supposed to sound. So when I do this example in English and in Spanish, I get 100%. So it's very effective in that way that it really is helpful for new language learners. And
is it comparing like embeddings or something like that? Does Levishine Levishine distance, or is it just comparing actual, characters?
It's just comparing actual characters. So tools like Google, so OpenAI Whisper is giving you a transcription, and not all text-to-speech services are transcription services. Some do more. Google text-to-speech, Google speech-to-text, while not as good at all quality as OpenAI Whisper, what it does is it provides you a lot more insight into the per word confidence score. We don't get that with OpenAI Whisper. So that gives one a lot more freedom to really kind of break down and understand what exactly you're doing wrong. Great, so that's the user text list, and all right, that's not working, but that would highlight the differences. And you see as you do it, your score improves, and your pronunciation improves over time. Now we can go back to text, right? So I just read that text, and I just read the text. We got our score, and right now, quickly to integrate something, we have Google speech to text, which
Україно, свята мати героїв. Зійди до
which is
серця
useful
мого
because this is going to give
прилинь
us
вітрів
the
кавказьких,
correct
шумом карпатських ручаїв,
pronunciation,
боїв славного
even if it
завойовника батька
sounds
Хмеля,
kind of
тріумфом і
mechanical.
гуком гармат революцій, радісним гомоном софійських дзвонів. Нехай душа моя в тобі відродиться, славою твоєю опроміниться, а ти, пресвята, все життя моє,
Yeah.
щастя.
Just
that was
mute.
terrible.
Yeah, you just mute the.
That was terrible. We'll be back in a second.
This is why it's called Hacky Hour, because bugs abound.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Very much so. So that's all fine and good. That's somewhat useful. Oh, and we can add text. So there are you can add text with just by typing in all the parameters we need. You can upload the file, and then that's going to use Google Document AI to pull it. And this is my favorite, is you can add the text from YouTube. So this is a LangChain feature. So if I have a YouTube video with subtitles, which is an important limitation. Let's see, one that definitely has subtitles. Okay. Great. Great. So we're going to take that. We are going to click the share link. We're going to copy that link, and then we're going to go back into the React link, and we're going to put it in and generate the text. And wonderful. So now we have a new text card from that video. Great. So as you can see, here we go. Figuring out how to get the language to actually go from the language code to the language was a problem. And as you can see, this is in English. It shouldn't be in English. That should be in Ukrainian. This version is in Ukrainian, but the language code is wrong. So it doesn't allow us to sort, and it doesn't let like all that functionality work. But essentially, you know, that's all good and well, and it works. This is not really like the main point of it. The point of this application is to take these texts, and from these texts, use language models to generate a whole series of kind of cascading effects. So I can demonstrate those, you know, quickly here. Let's, you know, word matching game, historical role-playing game, sentence construction game, flashcard matching game, and I'll demonstrate this one, you know. So for each text card that we're doing, this matching game will be automatically generated from the vocabulary. I'm only gonna get like one or two. I'm not gonna like strat that. Maybe I'll just do one. Mother, mati. Mother. I just saw it.
Just so I could kind of understand
Great.
what's happening
Awesome.
behind the scenes here. So you've got, it's taking the text from the YouTube. Okay, so we had a YouTube video. You took that YouTube video, got the share link, put it into the app here. The app took those transcriptions, translated it into English, and now we've got a matching game here that's kind of sitting on top of those, you know, the Ukrainian and the English transcripts, and we were able to like match things. Is that what's going on here?
Exactly. And the really wonderful thing is, you know, I showed you this demonstration, and there are all these text cards. But the wonderful thing about this is that it really will be they'll be your cards. So if you have a teacher or if you have a language tutor, they can assign certain things, and then the context of everything that you're doing, all these mini games are going to help you better understand that text. So this is one, you know, the grammar game is another. So again, automatically generated. So identify the verb in the sentence. Okay, great. We got that right. You know, the next one, identify the noun in the sentence. Okay. Okay, that's embarrassing. Great. Again, and you know, this you know, and then we have some that are just, you know, necessary things that aren't really related to the text card, like understanding, you know, how to associate numbers with their actual words. So for this one, it would be great. This is the one, and this is what I was killing myself to get this function to work for this demonstration, because it really uses all of these vector tools and such. But that is the historical role-playing game and the Wikipedia search function. So the historical role-playing game, what it would do is basically you would choose your role, and again, these would be generated automatically from the content in the text. Some of these aren't directly mentioned, but you know, the themes of these are directly relevant to the text. And you use OpenAI Whisper to kind of record yourself, and then you're going to get what it's going to do is it's going to get the Wikipedia search from it, from the relevant subject matter, and it's going to do a vector search of the similarities, and it's going to tell you how well you did at matching that out. Yeah.
That's pretty cool,
so,
man.
Yeah.
I'm interested now if I don't know if it's planned for in the remainder of the time we have, but
Sure.
some code. We look at some code and kind of look into how these systems are built, and kind of I'm curious your thought process for how you thought about building out the systems.
Of course. And I definitely got a lot of there are definitely a lot of things that I would do differently, that I will. I'm just going to change the screen. let me just
Yeah, no problem. Handle that while you're taking care of that.
Sure.
Thank you for everybody that's watching on LinkedIn. A lot of great questions, like just comments coming in from people. People really are impressed by what you're building here, Matt. So great work.
Oh, thank you.
If anybody has questions, feel free to drop them in the chat section there on LinkedIn. Be happy to take those questions as well. But yeah, let's jump into the code now. Is it
All right.
possible to make it just a tad bigger? Just zoom in just a tad bit more.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I have no
Yeah, I think that'll be perfect right there.
no
Great.
problem with that.
Great.
So this is, really, I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people build their applications as a monolith. Because as you include more and more features, it just becomes so much more kind of unwieldy. So this is my app.py file. So this is for the Flask server. And essentially we're defining essentially for each one of the things we're doing, we're creating our server methods and the series of logic. So if you can see here for the demonstration, it is hard coded for the YouTube loader because I had that problem that we saw earlier where the captions are defaulting to English, even if it's not in English. But for basically everything else, it isn't done like that. So when you upload a new card to this application in whatever language, what's going to happen is GPT 3.5 is going to automatically, as that upload process is happening, it's going to automatically conduct a series of tasks to augment that card with associated metadata. And one of which is the translation, which if you click the card, you can see the English translation right behind it. Named entity recognition and semantic role labeling. These are two features where, again, with LangChain, which is really what my drive has been, because it unites all of these different tools that I've been working on kind of separately. This becomes much more easy to achieve. But let me just show you, for example, our database. Which is not opening for me. But that's a shame because it really helps to see the models. But we can go to the models. Well, let me keep on running through app.py for just a second. So the creating the text list from Google, these are similar. The associations, the ratings, and a lot of features that aren't yet integrated perfectly great. I really want to show you the OpenAI Whisper part and the calculation of the Levenstein distance, which is really what I'm interested in, very much so. Awesome. So this is the transcribe function. So you have your audio data, and OpenAI Whisper is going to, it's going to take that. It's going to get the language from the text card. And for some Latin languages, OpenAI Whisper supports over 80 languages, but that's what they say officially. For example, they don't officially support Latin. However, if you don't hard code a language and Latin is being spoken, OpenAI Whisper will still be able to transcribe that, which is pretty cool. I guess to limited degrees of difficulty, but yeah. And then it's gonna run through. It's gonna get which user created that text card, And it is going to create a new model in user texts. So yeah, I'm going to show you the models here. So wonderful. So these are the models in the Flask SQL Alchemy database. Okay, so the user model, the user model is exactly what it sounds like. It's all the data that's associated with a specific user, which includes the relationships between the texts, and the user text, which is the user text is the join table in this relationship. So with text, we have all these different columns in our database, and upon uploading in the back to the app.py file, when we go back to text, yeah, it's right here. So these are just the prompts for the named entity recognition. The definition of the prompts for the named entity recognition. We give it examples because examples work great for OpenAI for transformers and few-shot learning. The semantic row labeling prompt. So for the texts, we have all these different features, and when you are posting a text, it has only these 4 fields are required: name, author, language, transcript. So name, author, language, transcript. These named entity recognition, semantic row labeling, the translation, background, key vocabulary, and the population later of the mini games. These all happen in this calculation right here. So in this post request. So if we have this, it's gonna make the response, and now it's going to run through, and it's going to execute these prompts, translate the following into English, get the key vocabulary, and it's going to collect those outputs, and it is going to run it here with OpenAI Whisper, with GPT 3.5. It's gonna do all of that. It's going to commit it to the data, to add it to the database. It's going to commit it to the database, and it's going to return the response. And then there's error handling and other stuff there. When a user actually clicks on a text, this is really the kind of like the last main thing, I think. If I have much more if we're still going to time, but the important table is the user text table, at least certainly for the calculation of these scores. So with the user text table, the user IDs and text ID are both associated, and then we're going to get a transcription, like the official transcription, and then we're going to have the user transcription. So the way the function to calculate the score is just comparing this original transcript to the user transcript, and it's doing some pre-processing. So it's gonna spaces don't matter, capitalization doesn't matter, spaces matter, but like other things, characters don't matter. And then it's going to calculate that Levenshtein distance, and it's going to take that distance and it's going to calculate the Levenshtein ratio, and that provides us with the score for that text. Yeah. And
curious what the LangChain parts of this are, especially like I'm big on interested in prompting and LangChain stuff. Where's all that happening?
Here? So the back in app.py, we have, let me think for a second. Okay, yeah. So create text from YouTube. Right. So this is using the link that it's just using that LangChain tool. So the next step is essentially refactoring all this to be using LangChain, to be using these agents effectively, to be making these decisions, and to be running through that validation. In time for this demonstration, not all of that was able to be done, but yeah, LangChain is really, really useful because it gives us all these different ways to input data easily, and then to be able to transform that data in ways that are useful for this sort of application. So not as much integration as I would have liked but no, absolutely, that's the next direction. Yeah.
Awesome. Arya in the Zoom room here says LangChain is really useful sometimes. Definitely agree.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So a React front end. That's that's a lot of work. How did you learn React, or did you learn React?
So I at the Flatiron School.
Okay.
We did JavaScript and React, and it's and then we did Python and Flask for the backend, and it is it's very different than using like what's it called, than using what are these things called? You know what I'm talking about, where you just put your machine learning model in and you get a simple interface.
Yeah, Streamlit, Gradio, Chainlit.
Yeah, Gradio, all those sorts of things. And with React, let me just go back to the app. With React, great. So with React, you can do whatever you want. And the really, really wonderful thing is, and like, for example, like this is a really dumb feature I didn't show before. This is the webcam upload, and embarrassingly, I only have a printed out thing of cloud practitioner certification that has text on it. But this is a really dumb feature that I've done, but it's supposed to be a like a privacy preserving ML feature. And I'm going to get back into React, how this like is relevant to like why React is amazing in just a second. So this is a privacy preserving ML feature, which is going to allow me to upload my text. It's going to allow me to take that screenshot and send it to the server. And I'm not going to do it because you have to hold it really, really steady without ever having your data being sent to the server. So without ever having your face. So as soon as you, the reason why this is kind of slow is because this is using Tensorflow JS to run the machine learning on the client, as opposed to on the server. So when we're taking a screenshot of this, when we're running this machine learning model, none of the data is leaving your computer. The user pays for the machine learning model to run with their own computer, rather than you having to pay for servers. So it makes anything that you can make with TensorFlow JS effectively can suddenly run on any web browser, anyone's computer. It doesn't matter what OS, doesn't matter any of that stuff. You as the machine learning person don't have to pay for any of it, and none of the data leaves your computer. So it is really, really, really useful for privacy preserving features.
Nice.
But the reason why React is so great is because I need to stop this. Wonderful. The reason why React is so great is because this is a pretty ridiculous feature, right? It sounded better, seemed better in my head. But React is amazing because with React, if I want to make this into, and I do, with some improvements, into an iPhone app or an Android app, I don't have to learn I don't need to learn C# or Swift or whatever programming languages that they want me to use. You can just use React Native, which is the process of converting your React app into a React Native app is it's very easy. It's basically the same thing, but that would allow, for the much more useful feature of you take a picture of the text with your phone, and then we get that added to a text card. So the TensorFlow JS part is a bit of a fail, but React is incredible because it opens up all of these different opportunities. So this is remarkably close to being an Apple iOS app. To being able to get on, Android is much easier. To be able to get on the Android, anyone can get into the Play Store. But
nice.
But yeah.
Last couple minutes here, I'm curious, like how'd you think about designing this system? Like, what was the first feature that you kind of thought about? And I guess the real question I'm asking is, what's your process like when you're building out an application like this? Are you pen and paper in hand drawing out diagrams, or are you just getting straight to the code? How do you?
Yeah. So with this one, I did think about. I had this idea of these texts as cards, and that was my guiding design principle. And one more point I should designing principle. And I also wanted to design it in a way that would be not ridiculously difficult, and would look standard and clean and functional, as opposed to kind of everything different and CSS styling. And to do that, I use Material UI. So I highly recommend it for anyone who if you put your heart and soul into writing CSS, by all means, write your CSS. But a lot of modern applications, like even Google Firebase, uses Material UI, and it means that for certain things like like the cards I actually designed myself, but I didn't really have to, because they have a card component. So using these components allows you to get these effects and to do these things that aren't really value add necessarily to the user experience. So I highly recommend Material UI. There are different ones like Bootstrap, but that's going to really save you a lot of time if you want to focus on the working out and the logic of the application. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Don't see any more questions coming in. Ari, if you got any questions, let me know. Folks on LinkedIn, thanks for hanging out and checking this out. Any parting words here, Matt?
No, I'm interested actually now for this application. We're looking at what other language platforms are doing. Like Italki is a tutor service. That's where I get my Ukrainian instructions. You get a live tutor. Integrating that and doing human in the loop, machine learning and doing those transcriptions and allowing for higher quality human edited transcriptions. That's really the next step. And the wonderful thing is that these companies are all moving in this direction, but they're not releasing things that are certainly not as developed. They may have never heard of LangChain. And right now they're just doing summarizations of lessons, right? So they get the sound of the thing. They're guess they're using Whisper or something, and then they're just getting that summarization. So kind of the great thing about the way this is developed is that we can pitch these components individually, separately, and it's just very scalable. The whole system, yeah. Basically, instead of learning a language in these rigid forms where you have to do whatever the curriculum is, you choose the topics you're interested in, and then from those topics you learn your grammar. You get introduced to new historical concepts that are relevant and bring you more closer with the culture. So you advance without forcing people to do things that they're not interested in. So if you're interested in fashion, you can learn a language just by doing fashion stuff. I'm interested in politics. That's my degree. So my things are political. Yeah, that's my final pitch. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I like it. It's a great new way to learn language. And it makes complete sense, right? Same thing with like, learning machine learning or deep learning. Like, if you're interested in computer vision, just jump right into computer vision stuff. Like, whatever your niche is, jump right into it and start learning it. I like it. Matt, thank you so much for joining. Everybody on
Thank you
LinkedIn.
so much for having me.
Yeah, cheers, man. Appreciate you taking time. Thanks for joining, everybody. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.